Hi champions, we're halfway through the week. I hope you're enjoying this week on making predictions. We're just getting started on this reading strategy. Remember, it's an educated guess based on clues from the story. And it's okay to be right or wrong. This week we're not focusing on that. We're just focusing on making good educated guesses. All right, let's practice. Here we go. Angela threw the bedspread over the bed and fussed with it until it was free of wrinkles. She dusted her dresser and straightened the knickknacks. As she was leaving the room, she noticed that a picture frame on the nightstand was slightly crooked. She went back into the room and straightened the picture frame. She examined her bedroom one more time and gave it a satisfied nod, and then she went to vacuum the living room. As she was running the vacuum, her 3-year-old son Jason walked into Angela's bedroom. He was drinking a glass of grape juice and playing with his cars. Angela's bedspread fell as he raced his cars off the bed. While hitting an imaginary jump with his cars, he bumped into the nightstand and knocked over Angela's picture frame. Then, while he lined his cars up at the starting line of the pretend race, he kicked over the grape juice and it spilled all over Angela's white carpet. Jason didn't notice. After Angela finished vacuuming the living room, she tied the cord around the vacuum and went to return to her bedroom. Uh-oh. ... means to be continued. So we're not going to know what actually happens, but let's see. So, I think what happened is that her son Jason spilled his juice in her bedroom. Now, what it's telling us about Angela is that she seems like she likes to be neat. She kept fussing with the bedspread till it was free of wrinkles, which is a lot. She dusted her dresser, straightened her knickknacks. Knickknacks are just random things on your dresser. She fixed the picture frame that was crooked, and then she was cleaning. So Angela is a very neat person. So I think Angela is going to be really mad at Jason. So I'm going to say going to be furious at Jason. I don't think grape juice comes out, because she likes things neat. Even though he's only 3 years old, he needs to be careful. So that's what I think is going to happen. You can have a different prediction as long as you can back it up. Next one. Lance didn't cook much, but he wanted to do something nice for his wife's birthday, so he decided to make her dinner. He was preparing a meal of steak and potatoes by following a recipe that he had found on the internet. He put the steaks on the grill on low heat and quartered the potatoes. That's where you cut them up. Then he threw the potatoes in a skillet with a little bit of oil and cooked them over medium heat. After browning the potatoes, he grabbed the skillet by the metal handles and put it into the oven at 400 degrees. 20 minutes later, he grabbed the steaks off the grill and began preparing the plates. The last thing that he needed to do was take the potatoes out of the oven. He thought about using a pot holder to remove the pan, but didn't want to bother with getting one out of the drawer. He reached into the hot oven, his hand nearing the metal handle of the skillet. He wrapped his hand around the handle and clenched tightly. Oh dear, Lance. So what do I know about Lance? He doesn't cook much, so he's not making some good cooking decisions. And I also know that he put this the pan into the oven with he put a pan in there, and he decides at the end he doesn't want to use a pot holder. A pot holder is what you put over your hand so you don't burn yourself. So what happened? Lance is reaching for a hot pan. Well, it says here he wrapped his hand around the handle. He clenched tightly, so nobody can save him now. So I think he is going to scream in pain, and he's probably going to burn himself. And they might have to take him to the hospital. He's going to scream in pain because he did not use a pot holder. Let this be a lesson to all of you. Always use a pot holder or an oven mitt. They call them oven mitts. A pot holder to get anything hot out. Poor Lance. Never know what'll happen to him, but hopefully he made a good prediction. Here's our third practice problem. As Frank marched through the desert, the high winds blew sand at speeds that stung his exposed skin. He looked back and could see his footprints for hundreds of feet. Beyond that, the winds had blown them away. He had no idea how long or how far he had walked. He turned his back to the wind and opened his canteen, which is like a water bottle. He attempted to pour it into his mouth, but there was not a drop. He rolled his tongue around the nozzle of the canteen, but it was bone dry. Frank dropped the canteen in the sand and continued walking. His steps slowed. He was getting dizzy. The sun's rays seemed to only increase in intensity throughout the day. It hung high overhead and pushed all that resided in the desert beneath it. Frank was lightheaded. He felt his knees get wobbly. So, what do I know? Frank is in the desert, which I know a desert is very hot. And it seems like it says here, he attempted to pour water, and then his water bottle has no water. So Frank is hot with no water. Says that he got lightheaded, his knees got wobbly. I think Frank might pass out. He seems to be dehydrated. Might be dehydrated. Dehydrated is when your body doesn't have enough liquids. And he's overheated. I hope somebody can come rescue him. So I think he might pass out from not having enough water and being too hot. Alright, you have two scenarios. You're going to read about Valerie. And remember, you're not going to figure out the outcome, but you're going to do an event and a prediction. And you're also going to read about Mr. Fox. No outcome, just event and prediction. And we'll go over them tomorrow. Thanks, champions.